I can't help myself. No, 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 I can't help myself.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to the Sheepy Show again. It's great to see everyone in here who we got in the chat. Hey Ash, good to see you back. Digital One, Rodney, Soul Candy, Leo, Nap. I've got another jam-packed show today and got a very special guest as well alongside. You'll get to meet him in a little bit. But I'll kind of go over what we've got on the show today. So I said I've got a special guest, is the Barbell from NFT Scoop. We're going to be talking a bit about the news. I'll introduce him. We'll have a bit of chat about how he got into the space, where we see it going. Obviously, I've got my normal news reports. We've got a few giveaways coming. And then I've got a bit of a section on Valhalla. Valhalla's the talk of Twitter, the talk of the town at the moment. And I wanted to give you a bit of my opinion and maybe break it down objectively and have a chat about that as well. What's up, Suki, in the chat as well? Sketch, Tejith, good to see you. And Varun. Well, that's kind of my little introduction. So I think I'll kind of get straight into the guest. So I hope this works. It's my first time having a guest on the stream with a face cam. Let's see if this works. Okay. Can you all see my guest on screen? You are on screen now. We'd like to, can we all hear him? Can we all hear Barbell okay? Let's check the chat.
Check it out.
Yep.
Just me on screen, Sheepy, or?
No, it's both of us popping up next to each other at the moment.
How you doing?
Yeah, very
Glad
good.
to be here, man.
Appreciate it.
Everyone see and hear me okay?
Yep, everyone's saying it's all fine. But how you doing, mate? Enjoying the World Cup?
Yeah, do you know what? Is it Monday? Was it Monday, the England game?
Yes, yeah.
We absolutely smashed Iran. So yeah,
I loved it.
It's good, mate. No, it's good to be here. This is my first ever live stream. So yeah, first guest, but first live stream for me. So absolutely glad to be here. Excited as ever to be in the NFT space, and really great. It's what a show to come on your show as my first live stream. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the stage.
No, I appreciate it. As I said, we've spoken a few times in Discord. I've seen you around. You're one of the people who inspired me with what you do with Scoop as well, kind of bringing news, bringing education. But it's good to finally have a chat with you, bring you on the stream, and see how you're getting on. So, do you want to give yourself a little introduction, just so everyone knows who you are?
Absolutely. So, I am the Barbell. You can find me on Twitter of @the_barbell_. But yeah, I'm the founder of NFT Scoop. We are a news and media network for NFTs. Started as a newsletter. It's a completely free newsletter, so we distribute the news twice a week. But we also have a YouTube episode as well. So the reason I decided to get into NFTs, I've been in crypto since 2017. So by some of the real OGs, I'm probably a noob, but by most people's standards these days, I've been in the space for some time. So I've, crypto obsessed. It's something I've picked up morning, noon, and night. Distracted from my real day job. But then these NFTs came out, right? So must have been around summer 2021 that I discovered NFTs. Had the classic, but there's obviously, you had the bull run of all different projects, aped into some, made some bad mistakes, lost some money, lost some hard-earned Bitcoin that I turned to ETH to buy NFTs. But look, that's how you learn, right? And there was a couple of buddies of mine who were also interested in the space, and we were like, well, do you know what? Like, content production is something I've always wanted to look at. Why don't we start producing, some sort of form of content? And we came to the idea of a newsletter. Obviously, there's lots of stuff going on Twitter, but the newsletter might provide a different avenue for people to learn about the space. So we started collating our ideas via a newsletter. Then came up with some branding. Obviously, the Scoop, iNews. We've now got the animated ice cream man, and that is it. And our aim with NFT Scoop is to, similar to yourself, Sheepy, is providing free value, free education to the community, and to people who want to learn about NFTs. Our slogan is, educating the world about NFTs one scoop at a time. So here I am, absolute crypto obsessed, NFT obsessed. Spend my life in NFTs because I recently made the transition to full-time Web3. So I wake up in the morning, 6, 7 a.m. I'm in NFTs. I'll then work on NFT Scoop in the evening. So what I do is a full-time. I'm part of an organization called Frontier X. So we provide Web3 infrastructure for global brands. So essentially, our aim and mission is to take the largest brands in the world and bridge them over into Web3. So yeah, it's a really exciting place to be. I'm kind of rambling on now. So yeah, I'm hoping that was an okay intro.
No, that was perfect. As I said, it's absolutely great having you on and hearing a bit about you. I said, I always like to see other people providing free content and value for everybody around them. We've seen so many grifters trying to sell you the get rich course or learn these skills to make $1 million. You don't need to. I always preach this. There's so many tools and resources for free and people giving it out for free that you can learn, especially in this bear market, the quiet time. It's great to see people like you putting out value, and that's why I appreciate you coming on as well. So
I appreciate it.
Go
on.
I've got a question for you. I always like asking this to be. What was the thing that kind of inspired you to get into the Web3 space? What intrigued you to begin with? Whether that was from crypto moving into NFTs, but kind of that first leap, the first thing that brought you in.
So do you want me to start with how my crypto journey started?
You can do both. You can start with crypto and then the transition into your Web3 life now.
Yeah, of course. So I imagine not many people have this story, but because it's normally the other way around. It was actually my dad who spoke to me about a little thing called Bitcoin. I was like, right, okay, I've heard about it. I've seen, an old, very old, it must have been out years ago, Netflix documentary about Bitcoin, but, I don't really, understand it, and I never did understand it. And my dad was on a boat, right, and some guy who owns an exchange, it's a gold to Bitcoin exchange, decided that he said to my dad, this was just before the 2017 bull run, he said, there's a thing called Bitcoin, and I'm telling you now, you need to buy it. So my dad bought it, he called me up, I've just bought this thing called Bitcoin, and I was like, right, okay, I want to get some. And then I'm looking at the price, and we're looking at like, $3,000 a piece here, right? And I was like, I can't afford that. But then I started looking, okay, well, where can I see the price of Bitcoin? Okay, Coin Market Cap, Coin Gecko, and then I started to see all these other coins. Okay, what's Ethereum? What's Ripple? What's EOS at the time? That was a big boy back in the day. And I started to go down these absolute rabbit holes of different currencies, different coins, and became obsessed by initially the pumps. I put some money into EOS. I remember turning $300 into 13,000 very, very quickly, and I was blown away by that. And I think at that point I was hooked. But then I started listening to a podcast called Anthony Pompliano. I don't know if you've heard of Pomp. He's a big crypto Bitcoin maxi. I started listening to his podcast, started reading a lot of his newsletters, and really got inspired by it, and started to get an understanding. So just to sort of context this, I got in sort of curiosity in the pumps, but then I really started to understand the issues with the current fiat system, and in terms of like the gold standards disappeared, inflation, printing of money, that type of thing, and all the reasons why Bitcoin is important in this day and age. And I think I read the Bitcoin Standard by Safdin Amadeus, and was just like, right, this is it. So I then went on a journey of really just dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin throughout a very, very long bear market. I think it was 3.5 years, all the way up until COVID. And then things absolutely skyrocketed, and all my hard work and a diligent, religious dollar cost averaging of Bitcoin, everything I could scrape would put into Bitcoin. The name used to be the Bitcoin barbell, but it transitioned to the barbell for this reason. So, made money on Bitcoin, and then realized also that if I had paid attention and not been such a tunnel visioned maxi, could have made a hell of a lot more on Ethereum. And then it opened up the doors of Ethereum, right? And so one thing that I've always learned in the space is always keep your, be chain agnostic, be curious, and, don't marry certain, bags or NFTs, because there's always something around the corner, and you've got to keep your mind open because it's a growing space. Things are happening all the time. So, I learned that by just focusing on Bitcoin, while Bitcoin is amazing and great, and I love the technology, and it's been the godfather which has spawned all of this and NFTs, I missed some key importance there. So I started exploring Ethereum, and then I came across NFTs, and I was watching Elio Trades. I don't know if you're aware of Elio Trades,
not.
Right? So he's a big Twitter, YouTube influencer within crypto and NFTs. And he started talking about Bored Apes, right? I saw these Bored Apes, and they were 8 ETH. And I was looking at it. I think Ethereum was $2,000 at this point in time. And I thought to myself, okay, am I going to convert some Bitcoin into this? And I thought, I can't see these pictures of apes going above $16,000. This is the top. Maybe this is the top. And wow, that was a costly decision, right? So maybe And so instead, I started searching in the same way that I did with crypto. I couldn't afford creme de la creme. I could afford a Bored Ape, and I very much could have, but I just thought, this is all new to me. I don't really understand it. So I decided to buy a Crazy Lizard Army NFT.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you guys remember them, but they were part of the first run-up in 2021 NFTs, and I made some good money on it. I made some good money on it. So that was my first drop into NFTs. I then got involved in Weather Report, and I think I bought I was following Alex Becker at the time, and I bought some photography NFTs by, gosh, I forget his name now, but I spent $16,000 on a picture of a palm tree, a photograph of a palm tree, okay? And it got me whitelist for Weather Report, which, well, I kind of had the same hype as Invisible Friends at the time. And I was like, I already spent the Ethereum that I was going to make in my mind. I was like, right, I'm going to Miami this year. You know, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to sell these NFTs when I mint them. And anyway, as you do, these are sort of the catalysts which led me down into my Web3 journey. And the more and more I started learning about NFTs and actually some of the application and utility behind them, obviously NFT Scoop was formed. And yeah, part of the podcast with NFT Scoop would be interviewing founders. And one individual that I interviewed was a guy called Zach Manhire. Now, Zach Manhire is the founder of Frontier X. So we got chatting, built up a relationship, and then he said, "Hey, there's a space over here. Come and support what we're doing. How about it?" So that is my sort of Web3 journey. It brings me up to today. I hope that helps.
No, it's great. I love hearing people's journeys. Literally every single person seems to have a different entry, whether it is from the original crypto days, whether it is art, whether it's seeing the money that was made. And it is just strange how everyone has come from the same, well, different paths and are ending in the same place at the moment. Like minting, seeing the same stuff, people who come from crypto. It kind of shows it is such a small space still that the whole kind of industry or the crowd all gathering around the similar things. Yeah.
Well, one thing I can, obviously we see on Twitter, and everybody everybody knows anyone on Twitter, right? So obviously it's vast. There's a lot of players on Twitter, but the key guys, like, most people know who they are. And it's the same in the real world. Of course, these guys have Twitter profiles, but working at Frontier X and having these conversations, everyone is connected very, very closely. You could say it's a bit of an incestuous industry, and obviously that will change as it grows out. But yeah, you're right. It's we've all come together into this wonderful world of Web3, and it's interesting to see what's happened with FTs. I'm hugely bullish on the technology and what it's doing, and some of the stuff we're doing at Frontier X is truly game changing, at a mass adoption level. So it's interesting to see this flurry of innovation being popped out of essentially CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, and now the technologies are being used for lots of different things, but in a way that is going to really change and improve, I guess, a society for the better. So, yeah.
No, I think that's great, and that's exactly why we're all in it. We all see a benefit. The people here who tune into the stream every week, I said part of my thing is trying to educate people on these other things. It isn't just about money. It isn't just about the picture. It's the other benefits as well. But I'm going to take one thing you said and pivot onto our first kind of bit of news. You were talking about Twitter and all the people like leading it and the same names. So, okay, let me do this. So I'm now just placing you above me on my stream. Let me share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about as well.
Yeah.
One moment. See, it's my first time with a guest on. I'm still working out my little Discord setup.
No problem. I can just see myself right now.
Oh. Let me check. Share screen. Two. Can you see Twitter now? Or still?
No, it tells me you're sharing your screen. It says sharing your screen, but I cannot see.
Technical difficulties. Okay, let me just try screen.
If you like, though, you can navigate, and I can.
No, it's okay. How about now?
No.
Okay. Well, I sent you the tweets beforehand.
What are we looking at?
So we're first looking at NFT God's tweet, and I'm just going to go through it. Then I'd love to have a discussion and chat with you about it. So
Absolutely.
NFT God, GOAT in the space, provides free content, educational content, and this is about how Twitter is changing and Elon's vision of Twitter. I've spoken about this on my stream previously as well, but I saw this amazing thread kind of talking about the opportunities for creators, for people providing content in this space and where it can lead. So I'm going to go through his thread and then we'll have a little chat about it. So
Absolutely.
As we know, Elon's taken over Twitter. He's doing things on the fly. It's pretty fun to watch because seeing a multi-billionaire make decisions off polls on tweets. But I think he's doing something well. So he's trying to change the way we interact on Twitter. And he's trying to build a more social economy, something that rewards people who provide content and opportunities because he sees a more decentralized future. So we kind of know Elon is planning to make an everything app. He wants to get all social medias, everything together in one app. We also know Binance gave 500 million for the takeover on Twitter. And Elon said in a Twitter space recently that wallets on Twitter are very future plans. And he says content monetization is a priority, which I think is a really interesting thing coming. So where that's kind of coming, and it shows that quality content will get rewarded, not just with ad revenue, but with currency from other users. Crypto is incredibly cheap and easy to exchange, as a Twitter token only makes sense. So if you write high quality tweets, you get rewarded from your community. We see this a bit in some other decentralized social media apps. Us at Metaverse have been talking a lot about Diamond app, a decentralized social media where you can buy coins. And I see Twitter taking bits from these to launch, especially with someone as radical as Elon. I can see this coming sooner than later. So NFT God kind of gives a few things to start working on. So for myself, the people in the stream, anybody who wants to create content, you can start working on your tweeting. Literally just start seeing what works, what resonates. Try a few tweets a day. You can also learn copywriting basics because quality copywriting is one of the most important factors when it comes to the success of a tweet. Being able to structure your tweet for people to understand it in bite size, make it readable is a good skill. It's a difficult one to learn, but a lot of it come with trial and error and also seeing what kind of content works, kind of what doesn't. I've started noticing when I tweet out my link of my pre-save my YouTube within my tweet, gets a lot less interactions if I put it as a thread underneath. And these are just little things that I'm learning and you can learn too. I think starting to build now, especially in a niche area of crypto or NFT Twitter, you have an opportunity to make a name for yourself. As Barbell said, you see the same faces around. Everyone knows each other. You start interacting with these other big accounts, you'll be remembered. We'll also kind of start seeing, I said, the evolving Twitter avatar NFT. As I said, we've already seen profile pictures, verified NFTs, and next will be dynamic avatars, such as like what we see on Reddit, where engagement, quality content will be rewarded with maybe rare traits, valuable traits for your avatar, and that's your personal identity. We see the power of you scroll through Twitter, just seeing the colors of someone you recognize popping out, you see them. Maybe someone changes a profile picture, you naturally scroll past. It's kind of an important point of branding. And what NFT God says, so to start implementing this, getting ready, is to start building your audience. Start building up, find a niche, find a way to advertise yourself, because audiences will be rewarded in a social economy. You can increase your exposure through replies. So one thing I'm trying to do more is spend more time on replies. Every 10 minutes, I go every 10 minutes or 10 minutes in the morning, I'll spend time just replying to some big accounts, some other people. It's one thing I've realized is the connections it's built. Even some people I've never met, I've started replying every day to them. And now I feel like, okay, I could reach out to you and just speak to you just from a simple GM, simple message. And you can start curating your audience, curating your peers, curating the people around you. And it's something which I think you should all start doing, just a little bit of time in the morning to start doing that. So what the Twitter wallet we think will do as well, could hold cash, crypto, NFTs. As we say, we see YouTube pays creators based on views. Will Twitter create a token which rewards on retweets, content, interactions? And will they exchange assets as well for certain contents or goods? I said, this is all a possibility which could happen. So also what you can start is start building high visibility content. Threads, educational threads, get shared a lot. We see a lot of content on Twitter from shit posters, get a load of interactions, but it isn't the high quality content. It's stuff which maybe works now, that's bored, but if you want to expand your brand, I've spoken this a bit before on my last podcast with Roberto. I spoke a bit of time about shit posters, how I don't see them flourishing too much because they may have to pivot their brand. And if they focus so much on just shit posting, how can they monetize that for their future? How can they build a brand around that? It's not as easy. And Elon also says he wants to build the metaverse, so the everything app. Everything will be intertwined with this wallet. Soon it could be video streaming, it could be Twitter, it could be likes on photos. All of these could be rewarded in a social economy. So that's the thread that NFT God has. But I want to ask you, Barbara, what do you see the future and the opportunity for Twitter and kind of building a brand, as you have done with Scoop and yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Firstly, agree with you. Love what Elon's doing. He's probably been a bit of internally might have been seen as a savage, but Twitter were in a lot of debt, and they were typically known for terrible monetization strategies as an organization. So I think what he is doing is great. I'm actually really, I know that you may have just touched on it then, but I'm actually looking forward to, and I'm sure this is going to benefit you as well, Sheepy, the reintroduction of Vine and short form content, I think will be great. So, if Threads is maybe not at the moment, of course, Twitter is a writing platform. The better you can be at Threads, that is how you're going to build your audience. But if there's anyone here listening today who may be better at some sort of video content, that's going to give you an opportunity as well when those apps are turned on. And you can test that already with the likes of Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. But yeah, look, in terms of what he is doing, it's an interesting one because one thing that I want to, and I don't know if you've put any thought to this, Sheepy, is how it's like, okay, so obviously the plans aren't set in stone yet, but obviously NFT God talks about monetization, right? So that's you being rewarded by your rewarded by your community for high quality content. How do we think that'll actually look? I can understand ads. I can, it's easy, right? That's already how it operates. But how do you think that the community will pay, in essence? How do you think you'll be able to earn out of your community and your readership? Do you think this will be, because at the moment a lot of things are free, right? Threads. Do you think this will be payment gated for certain streams of content? How do you think it'll work?
Yeah, it's something that I have thought about a bit. I think the subscription model could be good, but I think it would have to be implemented. I said a lot of people like Twitter because it is free and there is everything there. And you'd really have to make it valuable content for people behind a paywall. But I think what also Rug Radio are doing, I said, the people who host my show have partnered with, they are doing a listen to earn, interact to earn content. So they have their utility token Rug. So what they are implementing in the next few weeks is if you use the hashtag Sheepy Show and you own a Rug Radio member pass, you will earn Rug, which you can sell on a marketplace or can be used in their store. And this is coming out soon. So as I said, this is how Rug have built up their tokenomics for the Rug Radio hosts, for shows. Twitter could do something similar. Basically have the utility token as per se, have benefits of buying avatars, maybe tweet promotion, maybe advertisements with this token. And then listeners can earn it by tweeting about you, earn it by tuning in. It's, as I said, Rug Radio have got there first. And the model they have spent building the past year will be exciting to see. I've said there's some big things coming, especially with this listen to earn and other benefits. And it'll be interesting whether Elon takes any thought from that model on implementing it.
Yeah, because he's, I think no matter how big you are on Twitter, one thing I've noticed with Elon, if he's tagged and he somehow sees it and if he likes the idea, he will reply to those people. So Rug Radio are, they're a huge entity in the space, right? But, Elon is also one of the most powerful guy in the world. But I can imagine, if they're constantly tweeting at him, or if he takes notice of what Rug Radio are doing, that'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it? If Rug Radio had influence on Elon.
That would be it. But that's the thing. It's like we are slowly dragging him into crypto Twitter. I think he's already got his feelers out there, and I'm sure he's got his finger on the pulse, or people close to him with the finger on the pulse. So that's why I think there is a big opportunity for Web3 projects as well to integrate into these apps. I said it's the opportunity to build and either get acquired or be brought in to run that sort of stuff. I think it's a very exciting time for the space and what we're going to see. Definitely.
And look, if you zoom out and take quite a holistic holistic viewpoint, I fundamentally believe that we are very much, it's very obvious we're an attention economy. So those who can drive the most attention through high quality will be rewarded. But you notice now with all the brands, and especially even writers, influencers, they're becoming their own media economies. You look at someone like Jake Paul or Logan Paul, these are built on the media they put out there. So Twitter's going to make it very easy for anyone to pick up and, like I say, make a career out of it. So I think what you say is absolutely spot on. Find your niche, whether it is NFTs, whether it's a subsect of NFTs, maybe it's NFT gaming, maybe it's historical NFTs, maybe it's FPs. The harder down you can niche, it's probably going to be easier to build a following. Because one thing I've noticed, I don't know if you feel the same, is that when NFTs first came around, you could just write about NFTs, right? But now it's like, okay, well, this category is gaming, this category is PFPs, this is virtual collectibles, so there's so many ways that you can niche down into this industry. And imagine the fact that you're watching the Sheepy Show, you are interested in this industry. But again, there could be anything. If you've got a topic that you want to do, it's going to be providing a platform for anyone who's providing high quality content to make a career out of it. So yeah, agree. Super exciting stuff. And I couldn't think of anyone better than Elon Musk to be at the helm of all of this. So yeah, great stuff for sure.
And I think that works well as a pivot onto the next section is, as you mentioned, digital collectibles and other big brands of Instagram. Yet again, dropping more digital collectibles from Web3 artists. We saw Vinny Hager sold out his collection in under 2 seconds on Instagram, which is wild. Like $250 with a credit card under 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's fast, it's high adoption. I think they're using Apple Pay, were they? Or anything. So again, and it's interesting, it's all, a lot of the infrastructure that we're building at Frontier X is all about, fast user adoption, easy onboarding, taking away the jargon of, NFT or seed phrase or anything that confuses the end user. And obviously Instagram have done that by, they've got the Polygon as a settlement layer, as a side chain. But yeah, I think, I'm wondering, is the cycle going to repeat itself? Is the 2021 cycle that we saw in NFTs going to repeat itself on Instagram? Because you've got 10 times the users, I think actually 100 times the users that we see on an OpenSea. Maybe they haven't experienced what we've experienced. Are we going to see this flurry of now creators on Instagram and this whole new bull run? So that's something I thought about. But yeah, fair play to Vinny Hager. Is your out of interest? Is your background Vinny Hager?
Yes, it is. I own quite a few of his pieces and works, and they're all integrated into my branding. I've got a Vinny Hager mask MV3, so I'm a big fan of him.
And was that a collaboration with MV3?
Yeah.
Or is that something that you've done?
No,
Yeah.
so that's a collaboration with MV3. So he designed one of the traits, which is his ski mask, which he's kind of synonymous for now. And yeah, it was a great trait to have in the collection. I was so lucky to have minted it.
He minted it?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. And what I think is clever about his art is that the fact that it can be, one, he can take a pen or however he wants to do it and kind of like brand anything. Like I looked at some of his artwork and, he's done white chairs, but then just put his, his pattern designs throughout them. He can do it with a rug. He can do it with a wall, but it's so iconic now. I think immediately I recognize that's a Vinny Hager. Immediately when I saw your banner change on Twitter, I knew that was Vinny Hager. So creating IP like that as an artist in this, it's easy to say, oh, that's a Picasso, right? But in this day and age, well, that's a Banksy. But fair play for him to creating such a strong visual brand. So yeah, I'm not surprised he sold out. I think there was 25, wasn't there?
Yeah,
so
not loads, but
not loads. Imagine Apple Pays were just chick. It was just done.
Yeah, and I said, as he said, whether it's cause the next bull run. I feel like if we see a big Instagram creator, these ones with 2-3 million, release a collection, and we see people making money on it. A lot of people came into this bull run because they saw the opportunity of making money. And saw the opportunity of, oh, how on earth is that guy doubling his money? Then we start with the money, then dive deeper into the technology, into the blockchain. So I really see the thing that could kickstart Instagram is if, I'm trying to think of an artist, like just a more traditional Web2 artist who maybe has a few million followers, drops a limited piece on there. And they see secondary trading on OpenSea for more money. That might be that light switch for people. I said, you need to soft onboard them somehow. And it's a shame it is with the easy money sometimes, but that's one of the biggest attractions for people.
Absolutely. And just to remind me, Sheepy, so these collections that are, okay, so your digital MetaMask wallet is connected to Instagram. You essentially do the double click Apple Pay, or Google Pay or whatever you're using, and then that NFT will just go to MetaMask and it can then go onto OpenSea, right? Is that?
Yep, that is correct. Yeah.
So it's good that they've done it like that. Well, I imagine some will be different, but Vinny's obviously done that because he's a Web3 native to some degree. But it's nice when that should drag users into more of a Web3 native sphere from Instagram, the way he's done that. So yeah, it's interesting. No, I wholeheartedly agree. I also think that we will we'll see things like proof of interaction going on and engaging reward. So let's say, for example, in Instagram, further down the line here, it could be quite far away, but if similar to how Twitter's doing it, if you're rewarding users for story watch time, real watch time, if somebody tweets out, somebody likes, comments, those who are if Instagram decide to go fully on chain, then these artists, these influencers, they've got a complete oversight of these interactions taking place. It's all visible, it's all on chain, and they can reward their biggest fans, reward their not their customer base, but their audience, right? So it's there's so many ways that this is going to blow doors open. I think Instagram's a massively used app, so it's certainly bullish. It's very, very bullish on the space in general and the technology.
No, I agree. As you said, it gets your mind thinking of ways. Imagine being able to reward your first 100 followers on Instagram, being able to drop something special for them. Someone who likes every single post you post. They're like, these are things that I hadn't really considered until now, is utilizing your engagement on these social media apps for drops. Whether that can also tie into Twitter. Someone who has maybe replied GM to each of my GM tweets for the past 2-3 months, I can reward in some way. That's a really interesting kind of concept you've raised there. And I'm going to have to give that a bit more thought, actually. That's an interesting thing. Whether you can start implementing that into what we have now, kind of preparing for when it could come or what could happen with it?
Definitely, I think it's the way that a lot of these, a lot of blockchain and NFT technology will be leveraged, and it is, it's on chain. You can see exactly, not necessarily who these people are, but you've got verified interactions with Ethereum addresses, and you can choose to. So you might not know it's the barbell, liking your tweets, but that this address has liked your tweets, or tweeted out, or liked your comments. Liked your post on Instagram. You can then reward these people, right? So it's in a way that the user still owns the data, and it's got some anonymity to it, but the influencer can really get a nice picture of their audience. So I think that could be a play. I think that's something that could happen.
No, I think it's great. And as Docker said in the chat, remembers the first Sheepy Show PO-up that I gave out a few weeks ago from my first stream on Rug Radio. You never know where that may come in down the line. We'll have to wait and see.
Exactly.
So my next section is obviously some of people's favourites, but I hope you stick around, is my sponsor section and some giveaways for everybody, which is great to see. We've got some exciting things happening from our sponsors recently. Obviously, our sponsors are the HiHue Network and MV3. Like I said, without you guys, I can't reward my community, and I thank you so much because I love seeing all my community win, the people winning on HiHue, the people getting the MV3s, joining in with the story there. So I'm going to start with a little bit of, first I'll drop the Google form in chat. So you know how this works. Just put your Discord in the Google form, then I'll do a spinny wheel. The first winner will win the MV3 NFT, and then we'll have 3 winners of 2 HiHue tokens each. So I've dropped the form in the chat. And first I'm going to talk about the HiHue Network. So obviously HiHue Network, we all know, great sponsor of the stream. They run raffles nearly daily to win blue chip NFTs. The entry price is 0.07 ETH. Currently, they've got a prize pool with a Doodles box, a Beans, and a rare Apepe. I think these have all pumped since in the past few days as well. Rug Radio prize, you can get a rug, join in with the ecosystem. I said there's some big news coming out with Rug in Miami. They've got some big announcements. There's also a completely free to enter raffle. So anybody could go onto the site, connect their wallet, and enter the free to enter raffle to win some Space Riders. So that's the HiHue raffle. I'm now going to move on to MV3. So here you can see on my screen, Elite 1268 is the MV3 you'll be winning today in the spinny wheel. And MV3 dropped a very interesting new thing today. So they updated, they added updates to the hub to add leaderboards and character name and stories. So the hub is where you can view your characters, you can do training, you can now add stories as well. So I'm going to show you an example of my empath. I said my Sheepy McGee empath. I have my Vinnie Hagen mask. And here within MV3 now, you can name your character. You can give it a story. Here's a story which I have for my character here. And it will be included in the metadata now. So when you go onto OpenSea, you can see the name of your NFT, the story in the description. And when you post a link, it tells the link and the story when you share it. I think this is amazing to see, being able to build out a story for your collection and it being included in the metadata as well. So even people on OpenSea can now see my story and my name underneath my NFT. And when I post a link, it's there as well. So some exciting things happening in the space. I've now got 60 entries into my into the raffle. I'm going to copy their names across now. How many listeners we've got? I just want to check because sometimes people share it around. We've only got 43 concurrent listeners at the moment. So we might have a few people adding their name a bit unfairly here. But as I said, we'll get you to talk in the chat unless it's someone that I recognize. As I said, there's the same people who turn up every week and it's great to see. So the first giveaway is for the MV3 NFT. The floors are about 0.23 at the moment. So let's spin the wheel and good luck, everybody.
Who's going to win?
I know, here we go. This is always the tense part going in. And it is going to be Will Be 2. Will Be 2. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So Will Be 2, open up a ticket in the Metaverse or MV3 Discord and we'll drop your wallet and we'll get that sent across. So now we have 3 winners of 2 High Hue tokens. So we'll start the spin for that. It's always, I feel like I need some background music while I'm doing this. I'm just spinning, staring at a wheel. Congrats, Will Be 2. I see you in the chat. You are actually here and watching. And the next winner of the High Hue tokens is Hamad. Congratulations. So Hamad, open a ticket in the High Hue Discord. You'll be able to find the Discord if you go to the website highhueraffles.xyz and scroll to the bottom, on the bottom right. So open up a ticket there and the team will credit them for you. So the next winner, let's give it a shuffle. And the next winner is it's Bratto. Congratulations, Bratto. So Bratto, open up a ticket in the High Hue Discord, as I said before, and we'll get those tokens credited. And the final winner from this stream is going to be, I see Hamad in the chat. Good to see you there. Congrats. And the final winner is, oh, there's a few familiar names coming up here. And the winner is Soul Candy. Congratulations, Soul Candy. So I said, all the winners there, open up a ticket in either the High Hue or the MV3 Metaverse Discord, and we'll get the prizes credited. I also have a pretty cool announcement. I've been working on a partnership for the Metaverse over the past couple of weeks with InPeak. Barbel, I don't know whether you've heard about InPeak before.
InPeak? Rings a bell.
So,
go on.
So InPeak are building a masterclass or a LinkedIn for Web3 for networking, on-demand content, AMAs and podcasts. I love what they're doing. I've joined a few over the past week, learning people. I listened from Jay Shan from Gajira. I listened to G Money's one, and it fits right in with the ethos that I'm trying to present to people, what the metaverse is all about education and onboarding, and what they're willing to do, what they're planning to do. They're giving away 2 of their Gen 2 NFTs. These have a floor of about 0.2 at the moment. So the information on InPeak is free. Most of it is free, so you can watch live sessions, you can interact with people, ask questions. But the InPeak NFT gets you lifetime membership. It allows you to network with some of these people through a gated Discord channel. It allows you more on-demand sessions which aren't on there. So to join this, you have to be in the Metaverse Discord. There's a link in, I think it's in event announcements or in announcements, and to join the pre-mint there. Like, I really encourage it. Yeah, Zalotis is a female founder, Somi. She lives in London, great person. I've spoken to her a few times and I hope to meet her soon, but she's building out this whole educational thing and they've got a lot coming. So I'm excited to see what they do.
That's really interesting. Do you know what? InPeak, I'm going to have to check that out because obviously right now I've just opened up my mobile actually, so I can see a bit of the screen that you're sharing. But yeah, I couldn't actually see it. But yeah, that looks super cool. I must have come across them because they do ring a bell. But it looks like a great project.
Yeah, it's good. And I said, absolute pleasure working partnership with them. They're building out some absolutely great tools as well for token gated AMAs and discussions. and it's something we may look to utilize a bit more, especially with some of our MV3 workshops coming up.
Nice.
So that's the giveaway section now. I'm sure nobody leaves. We usually get higher viewership after the giveaways. So
Around, we've got the shows get better towards the end. The alpha pops out. So come
exactly.
On, guys,
well, we're covering Valhalla, and I think you all want to hear about my opinion on Valhalla and see how that's going as well.
I'd love to hear your opinion as well.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know whether I'll get bag holder syndrome. I did mint, but we'll wait and see. I'll see. So the next thread that I've got here is OX Quit, good friend of the space, know him, incredible genius, love what he's doing. And X2Y2 came out and suddenly said they're now enforcing royalties on all collections. They were actually the first marketplace to say, we're going no royalties. We're taking them away. We're doing something different. But now they've decided to enforce it. So, as I said, they were one of the first platforms to ditch royalty. They gained a lot of market traction and demand off that. A lot of people went to X2Y2 to flip and sell. And for flippers, all they cared about was to buy and sell, and that's what they went. So flippers account for the majority of volume on NFTs, moved to the cheapest alternative. So this was a free market at work. However, OpenSea recently released a new blacklist contract, which meant projects could add this in to block trading on royalty-free exchanges. And not only that, but if a new project doesn't add it, then OpenSea will not pay any royalties for that project on their platform. It's such a smart move from OpenSea. Creating this, as I said, they are got some of the highest volume in the space, but then creating this contract, this mix-in, really gives people the option. So it now means kind of Quit says it, extortion aside, he's generally against blacklisting other marketplaces and other ownership, because ownership should be free in Web3, as it's all about blockchain is owning your assets, whether it's money, art, and wherever it is. So that means you can always display it where you want, send it where you want, and trade it where you want. But the first domino fell when X2Y2 have now pivoted towards royalty-free. Back from royalty-free to royalties. And we now got to see how the other marketplaces follow, whether LooksRare and Blur are also going to follow. Because these big contracts, projects get minted using this brand new OpenSea mix-in. These other marketplaces using a volume. Valhalla used this mix-in, I believe. They used this OpenSea enforced royalties that stopped trading on other platforms that didn't have royalties. So it's go ahead.
Oh, it's a really interesting one, and royalties as a whole that was like a 3 week long escapade. It's still going, on Twitter, on NFT Twitter, and it's a clever move, but I agree with Quit. I think we need this open, fair ecosystem. We need these free markets to move forward, and this is, I guess, internal tactics. But then I guess it's the same in sort of, when you look at it, it becomes the same as any business, right? And of course, there may be these decentralized protocols for NFT trading, which I know is more challenging than the likes of Uniswap or with crypto. But I guess these sort of more centralized marketplaces are going to compete with each other, and they're going to do what they can to hold volume, because that's what's going to drive them revenue. So yeah, it's an interesting move. I also have some opinions. I have some other opinions on royalties, but I don't want it to detract too much from this point. But we can move on to it in a little bit.
No, I think go. I'd love to hear your opinion on royalties. It's something we've debated. I said this has been ongoing for weeks, and it's like a chess match. We're seeing moves being played all over the place from projects, from huge founders, influencers, and now the actual websites and the trading aspects. But no, go ahead. I want to hear your opinion on royalties.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a controversial one, Sheepy. It is. A number of the NFT space might not want to hear it, but this is my opinion. So, I agree that, for artists, okay, so, Vinny Hager's, original CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, art blocks, those artists, Web3 has really revolutionized how artists can get paid in perpetuity via royalties. Now, how do you define what's just art and what's a project that's trying to do different things? But the height of the bull run, as we know, every NFT project was claiming that they were the next best thing. We're going to build a festival, or we've got merchandise, or you're going to get revenue shares of X business model that we're using. But I think for artists, royalties are absolutely great. But with these NFT projects sort of claim to be almost business models, almost startups, right? Then to moan and that there's no royalties. I often think, well, where are the innovative revenue streams, or where are the innovations that you spoke about earlier? This months back, right? So it's a real tough one. And again, this is aside from the argument of this change which has happened within exchanges, especially what we've just discussed now. But in terms of royalties in general, my kind of viewpoint is, if you think of the broader sense of NFTs, if you think of NFT technology, royalties aren't, people have cried out saying royalties are going to, if there's no royalties, it's going to mean that projects can't continue and that type of thing. But, if you look at it on a broader sense, I don't believe that if there was no royalties, it's not going to kill NFTs. It won't. NFTs technology is here to stay regardless. And I get it, in the state of NFTs that we are now, royalties are very important. They provide a revenue stream. But, in the broader sense, I don't think we'll be looking back in 10 years and still be having the royalty conversation. I do think it's massively important for art, because let's say a Van Gogh, when his art gets sold again and again to different massive collectors, or Picasso, or whatever, does that go back to his estate? Probably not. And Web3 allows that to happen. These artists can, their families, their estates can get paid in perpetuity, I guess, for forever, as long as they still remain popular. But I don't know, these projects that were claiming that they were this, they were that, and obviously took a lot of money in the mint days, raised, sometimes millions of dollars. In the business world, you can't really raise millions of dollars, right, and then not release a product and then still complain you're not getting paid. That's kind of my opinion. What do you think?
No, I think you've summed it up perfectly. I think there are places where royalties should be there and are a major benefit, are one of the upsides. A lot of people got into Web3, but there's also quite a few places where there shouldn't be. You're buying a product. And that's actually perfectly pivoting onto the next thread, which I wanted to share, which came out about Valhalla as well, coming out. A distinction between equity investments and buying NFTs via mint or secondary. Because as you said, during the bull run, everyone was talking about, you get a revenue share, you own a bit of the company, you get this, you get that. And we've slowly started to see that isn't true. That there is a big difference between equity in a business, venture capital raises, and buying an NFT, buying a product. I've been retweeting a lot of, not controversial, but tweets at the moment, basically saying that NFTs are products. Don't think of them as investments. NFTs, you buy, people, they are, the best one I see is Pokemon cards as the analogy. We always bring this up. You don't get annoyed at Pokemon from opening their pack and not having value. However, you could open your pack and have one that is worth a lot of money. It's the expectations around it. So, and this thread, which I'm going to talk about, is the expectations of what is VC funding and equity and what are NFTs. So, as I said, NFTs aren't the same as equity. So, what he's saying here, so this is Airport. For airports who don't know, he is the Azuki. Oh no, he isn't Azuki. He's just influencer in the space. I thought he was on the Azuki team for some reason. But yeah, so equity investments are cash investments in exchange for a share of a company. If a VC invests into a company, they're acquiring shares in the company along with all the rights which attach to these shares. So voting rights, part ownership, right to dividends. And in the case of institutional investments like VC, additional rights will usually be given to the VC by founders through a shareholders agreement. These are rights that VC would not ordinarily have based on the number of shares in the company they hold. So that could be increased interest and other veto on decisions. So they could have given veto rights such as selling the company or dissolving it, spending of the company by a certain amount, changes to the company's business plans, where VCs wouldn't have these rights if you're just a normal shareholder. But because they have invested equity, then it's different. VCs take on risk by investing early, and their investment is usually liquid. They usually can't sell until an exit event like an IPO or the sale of a company. In exchange, they get extra shareholder rights as well as potential financial upside when they eventually can sell. So by contrast, owning an NFT gives you pretty much no guaranteed rights aside from ownership. NFTs are generally considered as collectibles. While there is a potential financial upside or downside on secondary, NFT holder rights and perks will vary from project to project. So with NFTs, you get a digital collectible, no rights in the company, and the rights to project expressly agrees to give to you. And only on 3, when utility isn't fully made known at mint, a buyer needs to trust a team to deliver over time. So there's a degree of trust and confidence. So he has a personal example here of Azuki, found a community where bought the NFT, there wasn't too much utility or emotional value, nothing's guaranteed, but the team is executing. And he said he's spoken to a few people in space who start projects because the idea of raising capital without diluting equity is a very attractive proposition. And if projects founders understand this, then it's important for potential buyers in the space to understand this as well. So it's basically you're not getting equity. People are launching these projects because they see another revenue stream. They see a stream without giving away equity, and you are being used as a product here. So of course this could change when regulation comes in. Regulation may clarify the rights of the holder, which may in the longer term be good. And as I said, this is a topic which is changing month on month as we see Biden came out with the FTX collapse saying we have to clamp down on all cryptocurrencies. We'll have to see where that goes. So kind of there are some simple takeaways from this. So NFT holders don't really have rights unless granted by the project founders. NFTs do have a lot more liquidity than VC investments, but VC have far more rights. So he also prefaces this as something that I want to go on about is don't overspend more than you're okay to lose 100% of. If you're buying an NFT, treat it as a collectible tied to the community which is there. It may go up, but it also could go down. Don't always expect the price to go up. It's tied to the community and team which are launching it. And again, don't overinvest or overspend because that's where you get worried. You have to cash out in wrong positions and miss out. So that's a summary of the thread. Do you have any thoughts on that, Barbell?
There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of ideas there to unpack. And, when it was the massive bull run, and by the way, will come around again. It will just be in a different form, whether it's music, NFTs, gaming, this will come around again. And on the back of that, of course, you get bad actors, right? So when people are raising money for NFTs, because of the hype and the frenzy which was going on, people were expecting profits to soar, and certain projects would say certain things in order to pump their project, and because they knew how easy it was to raise capital. But I think it comes down to, there's so many things to unpack here, but put it this way. If Pokemon were to drop an NFT, they would have value, regardless, right? And that is because people love Pokemon and they have built a global brand. Let's think of another example. If Dragon Ball Z, I always say, if Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon dropped an NFT, which one would win? Dragon Ball Z, they would have value because people have got such affinity already with the brand. Now, let's say also with Web3 native brands, let's say Azuki, let's say Bored Ape Club, Bored Ape Yacht Club, if these brands grow and execute, again, their NFTs, their collectibles, their products are going to have value just in the same way that Rolex and Ferrari have value. Okay, these are finite goods. Build a big enough brand, community, and affinity with people, and the thing around your brand is going to be naturally expensive. It's going to have value. So, absolutely. I mean, when I got into NFTs, I very much understood that I wasn't getting shares in a company. Well, it depends, right? But I always understood you never getting shares in a company. But I knew there was a hype frenzy going on, and I knew that things were going up in value. It's like when you buy a Rolex and it goes up in value, right? You don't have shares in the company, but you've bought an asset. So I think when you look at it like that, but they built that brand up, right? And some NFT projects like Azuki might do the other way. They're executing, they've got the PBT token, token standard, they're doing good things. And naturally, I think the Azuki floor will rise with that. It's an interesting one. Unless it was a true DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, where by actually buying the NFTs, you were given rights. Like you say, if the founders give you rights, or if you're given token drops from the protocol's revenue, because we see this all the time in the cryptocurrency, especially when people are providing liquidity to decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, most recently GMX. People are earning good money from providing liquidity in the form of tokens, which they can then market sell. So think if any major big brand drops an NFT, that you're, because here's the thing as well, Sheepy, right? So if Coca-Cola were to drop an NFT, okay, which I think they might have done on Veve, as an individual, you don't have shares in the company or revenue. So, but when it's the other way, when it's launched Web3 native, people assume that they had these sort of shares in the organization. Going off on a bit of a tangent, but they're my thoughts.
No, I think that's great. And I think, I said, a lot of it's expectations. A lot of people come here very naively. They get sold on an incredible sales pitch. They think this is it, this is going on. And as we saw, like Doodles, great example. Doodles owners were like, look, I own a Doodles. I helped build this brand up. They got a massive raise of 50 million, got valued at 170 or 400 million or something. Holders didn't see a single thing of that. That didn't affect them at all. The floor went down. It's an interesting concept, which people are still trying to get their head around, of how VCs fit in with NFTs. And that's where kind of Valhalla has raised this question again. They raised 15 million before mint for Stack Studios, which is like the parent company. Then Valhalla is a subset of that, is the Web3 brand. Valhalla then released 999 NFTs for 0.5 ETH each. That's another $6 million gone into their pocket from mint. And it raised the question of like, why they've already got VC. The whole thing was like, VC funding's there. They've already got it. Why do they need another 6 million? And this is quite raise a discussion of how is it going to be used and what is going to be implemented. And this is where I think, people ask for the transparency. People are saying, look, you've already got 15 million. You're raising another 6 from us, the community, where we're gambling on you. Where is this going to be spent? What is going to be built out with it? Because fair enough, people had their roadmaps beforehand and said, okay, I'm going to raise this money, then execute. Now it's kind of, they've got the money, they've started executing, and now they've gone for a separate raise. So I don't know whether you've seen too much of Valhalla or what your thoughts on that aspect is.
Yeah, I think 0.5 ETH was steep. I think it was, for the phase we're at in the market. And they were also, I know they were comparing themselves to blue chips, but we're in a very different place right now in the market. And you aren't the individual who gets to decide you're a blue chip. The community has to. And it has to come from their consumer base and how the wider market perceives them and the value they bring. You can't position yourself as a blue chip before you launch, in my opinion. So I think we're kind of too far. We're kind of at the stage of the market where 0.5 was a lot. It was a lot. But it also comes down to Why are they raising another 6 million? Well, it's an opportunity for, again, similar to the tweet that you spoke about, it's an opportunity for them to take a cash raise, but a non-dilutive one, right? Now, look, if they can drive enough, I do, by the way, I think from what I've seen of Valhalla, I actually think it's a good project. And the reason being, I'm bullish on gaming. Am I right in thinking, the Sheepy, that Stack Studios are also building a alternative to Twitch?
Yeah, that's correct. They're building a live streaming platform for gaming based blockchain.
Yeah. Now, and itself, if you're getting early access, future products, then the Valhalla NFT will be of value. And I do think it's a great project. I think I love their branding. I think they just do things right. Even when you go on Stack Studios, it's very slick looking. It's an interesting one. Did they need to raise a further 6 million? What I will say is, why are they dropping these NFTs? Okay, well, firstly, it definitely helps foster a community, helps foster a strong community and a baseline for them to build upon. They can reward those community holders. They can, almost start a customer base, and also NFT ownership gives people more of a feeling. It allows people to have a tighter brand affinity with fans. Now, I get it; these are brand new, but there's a lot of value in people just want to feel tighter and closer to a brand. You see people, you see it all the time in Web 2. So in Web 3, people are actually getting a piece of something which they resonate with. It's an interesting one. But go on. I'm sure you've probably got deeper thoughts on Valhalla than I have, given that you have minted. The floor price is, I think, about 0.68. Is it fully minted out now?
Yeah, fully minted out, I think, earlier today. And the floor price is currently at 0.72. Oh, no,
okay.
There's some selling at 0.65. Let me just give it a refresh. But there's also a bit of not a dodgy thing, or a thing which is causing a bit of issue with the floor price, but I'll get back to that in a moment. So, as you mentioned with Stack Studios and Valhalla, like, the reason I minted, and I do have friends who are in that project and doing amazing stuff in there, like shout out to Zer and Booth, like moderating from the start. They tick my boxes. When I look at a project, I look at what have they executed and what is their team looking like. They tick both of them. But I've got a great thread here by Zoo, who has summarized the pros and cons of Valhalla over the past 4 or 5 months they've been active. So I want to go through this to give you guys a bit of a rounded view, kind of an unbiased view. So, as I said, let's start with the pros. Their team is stacked, literally. They have a full roster of 15 to 18 people, all from Ivy League schools, have launched companies and sold them and exited previously. And the supporters and the investors are also very well connected. So, as I said, the first thing, the team behind it, how are they built to begin with? It's a great start. The art, they're not an art project. I said they're a utility-focused blockchain token for their streaming platform and anything else, but they have got good art. People say you've got the Azuki derivatives, anime meta. I'm not a big fan of anime meta. I can appreciate the art, but it's not something I love. But I said it has got good acclaim. They spent very good early resources on community building. They've spent the past 5-6 months building a core community with their community leads Sammy and Zer, building and recruiting potential core holders. How they've been hosting these gaming tournaments with other communities, with prizes, bringing it all in, where they can actually start building from the beginning. They've also been building out their brand and their partnerships. So they already have 4 of the best esports teams in the world partnered with them. Sentinels, T1 Esports, Talon and JD. This is great to see. They've already got partnerships lined up, and I'm sure once other people see they've raised 6 million, they've got this, they've got that, people will want to partner. They've also locked in a load of streamers already for their platform. This is something Alex has the founder has a lot of connections in LA with streamers gaming there. So I feel like when that launches, we'll see some big names shifting over, which will obviously bring viewership. But now's kind of the time for the nitty gritty and some of the cons. So the cons of what's going on. So they missed some community folks. So there was a bit of disgruntledness about wallet collection, as wallet collection was only 5 days. They only posted about it once on their public media. They posted about it in their Discord every day, but not everybody checked Discord. Some people missed out on submitting, also forgetting the OG role, the immortal role. They had to submit a wallet and that closed, even though they were in early and active. So these could have been done better. Also, locking Twitter, there was a lot of confusion about the public mint. They were advertising they're going to have a public mint, but then they switched it up a few hours before as the model changed because they got a lot of clicks online. And the lack of wallet checking and time until there was actually mint day to people confirm. Like myself, I submitted my wallet 5 times, just to make sure, because there was no checker on the website. I couldn't tell whether it was. It just says, you've submitted your wallet and close. So obviously people have that FOMO, the worry that it's not there. And as you mentioned, they use a lot of fluff keys. They compared themselves to the blue chips at the peak of the market. They had like previous negative experiences for users who used Supreme of Web3, blue chips, and all of this was said by community members of past projects, and they said, we don't do that. Then they ended up doing it themselves, comparing themselves to Azuki, Clone X. It felt a bit off brand and off topic, as you mentioned. It just didn't really feel right. And emotional leadership. Alex has also shown hot-headed recently. He's been facing FUD every single week, whether it's from Shill and Villain, NFT Ethics, 1984. People have been attacking Valhalla. And he has shown some hot-headedness on Twitter, on Spaces. But this is how you judge people publicly. Obviously, a lot is coming his way, so I do not blame him for reacting in certain ways. But obviously, as a founder, a leader of a project, you need to be quite level-headed. So, as you said, Valhalla is now minting, or it's now minted. The pre-sales are locked in if you buy it, and it's kind of showing the team skills. They've executed well until this point, so it's interesting to see where they go. But as I mentioned, there's a bit of an issue with the floor price at the moment. So they sent out these locked NFTs. They did the pre-sale, which I've spoken about before, of where people could prepay early and lock in their and get chosen and have the NFT locked for 3 months, like an equity investment as such. But so they airdropped all these tokens to the people early. What they can do, they could list them on OpenSea, but they would never sell. So earlier today, the real floor was 0.75, but someone who got a pre-sale had listed 2 at 0.68. So OpenSea was saying the floor was at 0.68. You couldn't buy these NFTs, you couldn't do anything with them because they're locked to the account for 3 months, but the real floor was up. So like looking now, there's a few around like 0.68, but they're selling for about 0.7 at the moment, which is an interesting thing to see. It'll be interesting how they deal with it. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on just what I've spoken about, or how you see the project maybe progressing, especially in this climate as well.
I think they're incorporating 2 massively important elements of the internet, gaming and streaming. The fact that they've and esports is huge. I don't know if you watch esports, Sheepy, but esports has got one of the largest audiences in the world. I know you touched on it already, but my ears really started to prick up with Valhalla when I started to see those type of teams that they were connecting with and partnering with. You know, I think it is. If they continue to execute and deliver, they're going to be a successful project. Their team is ridiculous. They've got esports. They're clearly heavily well connected. They've got money behind them. And you know, I know in the game, working in Web3, you know, I know startups who operate on far less capital than that. So you know, well funded, well connected, in an industry, in a huge growth industry. In like threefold. So yeah, I think it's bullish. And look, you know, we need to stop, right? With regards to NFT founders, Yes, we've been too trusting with the wrong ones as a wider community, and people have been burned. But you know, we also have to cut people some slack, right? You know, these guys they've raised $50 million now. Great, you know, they wouldn't have raised that money if the VCs and the investors didn't see vision in them and what they were doing. But of course, you know, Twitter can be a very mean place if you let it be. And you know, the stress levels which any business goes under before launch. You know, I've seen it with friends in who are launching startups in Web 2. It's a stressful time. Emotions run high. So if you're imagine this, imagine you're about to launch a Web 2 startup, an app, and then you've got people, you've got the news media, before you've even launched, you've got the news media, you know, you've got the local, you've got Sky News, you've got Manchester MEN, you've got social media accounts, all trying to put you down and say, this is this. Well, you know what? You've got to cut people slack, because what they're trying to achieve is, you know, they're entering into an unknown realm. It's a new industry. They've got a lot riding on it. So, you know, I think we do have to cut people slack. And you wouldn't really see that in the Web 2 sense, right? We wouldn't have, how do I say it? Be attacked from left, right, and center. You wouldn't. And I get it. There's also the side of, well, in NFT world, you are under more scrutiny because money can be raised fast, and you have a lot of people who are expecting you to deliver fast. But I think you've really got to zoom out a lot of these times and take a low time preference, as they call it, I think. And the low time preference means, you know, you're here for the long run, you believe in what they're doing. Everyone was so addicted to that quick flip. You know, I've made 10 ETH, I've made 15 ETH. Well, do you know what? The builders will win out in the long run. And from what I can see, these guys are certainly builders. I've been impressed with the project so far, and yeah, I think they've got everything that they need to be a success.
I think you summed it up perfectly there. My thoughts are exactly that. I said I've minted. I'm sure I'll touch on this again in future weeks. As I said, it's interesting to watch a hype project mint during this market. And I'm excited to see where they go. So we're coming to the end now. Barbell, is now your time to shill. I've got my screen up. What do you want me to pop up on screen?
Oh, well,
I can pop up a few things. I can start with one and then you can move over. I'll start with your Twitter. Let's get that going first.
Let's get the Twitter. So there's 2 Twitters that would be great to get some more friendly faces on Twitter. So my Twitter is at @the_barbell_. I have a nice little ute. You know what? On the day I reveal my ute, the Solana ecosystem and the FTX news comes out. Can you believe it? Do you know what? I love utes, hence my profile picture. But anyway, that's another day, right? But yeah, there's me. If you can see it now, I can't see.
Yeah, it's popped up.
Drop us a follow. Be great to connect with you guys. Just as an FYI, you know, if anyone wants to drop me a DM, I regularly check my DMs behind the DMs, where sometimes messages get lost, but always willing to connect, always willing to share information. So yeah, friendly face, I hope, and happy to continue sharing information with you guys. So, and secondly, it'd be great if you could give at the NFT scoop _ that'd be amazing. Then if you manage to bring
it's popped up.
Twitter, brilliant. Smash that follow button. That would be great. And yeah, and also if you'd like to subscribe to the NFT newsletter, that'd be amazing. We're also partnered with the Hi-Who network, so for referring our newsletter, you will receive a Hi-Who token, so you can have the chance to win blue chip NFTs. We love what the Hi-Who network are doing. So if you go to getnftscoop.com, you will see in there, guys, that is us. You can see the ice cream man. He is Mr. Scoop. He's our mascot. And we've got some interesting, a little bit of alpha to share. So as part of our referral program for the NFT Scoop newsletter, those who subscribe will have the chance in the very near future to get airdropped the NFT Scoop mascot with different traits, with different colors as an NFT. And do you know what? If you like the NFT Scoop newsletter and you affiliate with the NFT Scoop mascot, he does make a great profile picture. So we're going to be completely free. It's all down to, those are, our most engaged readers, those who want to share the message of what we're doing. And we will be dropping an NFT. It will be completely free. We're doing it a bit differently, so you won't have to mint it. You'll be airdropped it based on referrals, and those people who refer the fastest will be airdropped the rarest out of the collection. So that's all I'll say for now. We're still in the developments of it, but it's a free NFT. It's a memento. It's an incentive, which we are looking at. We can tie some utility into it and some additional content. But look, we would love to grow our community. So if you want to subscribe to NFT Scoop newsletter, that would be very much appreciated.
No, that's amazing. As I said, NFT Scoops are one of my favorite news sources. I've been following for quite a while. Even though website, you can read all these different articles. You have a podcast as well on this. You clip up content. I said, it's always great to have free information coming to you. So I'd recommend everybody sign up for this. Sheepy seal of approval of amazing content to keep you up to date, straight to your inbox, and that's all easy. So we're coming to the end. I'm going to put us both on duo. Any final words or final things from you?
So, I think, look, I guess, I don't know the demographic of your listeners. I understand that, look, it is, NFTs may have leveled off somehow in terms of the pumps you may have seen, or some of the project releases which are coming out in terms of, but look, like I say, the work that we're doing at Frontier X, NFTs are coming to the world in a big way, and if you can continue to learn from the likes of Sheepy, or you read NFT Scoop, for example, you are positioning yourselves at the forefront of a new cutting edge technology which every brand in the world is looking to adopt and leverage in some way, shape or form. So, by being here today, by listening, by sticking around in the space, you are making your concerted effort, which it might not feel like it now, but you're making a concerted effort in a technology which is going to be with us very soon in a very big way. And I can tell you that because I know the type of brands that we're talking to, and bridging them over into Web3. So one more thing. Don't feel like you have to mint everything. Don't feel that maybe you might not even own an NFT yet. Don't feel that you need to mint something or trade something just to be active in the market. Just by listening to Sheepy Show, just by reading a good thread on Twitter, you are being active in the market. No position is still a position. You just haven't selected, where you want to go yet. So look, it's a great place to be. There's a tons to learn, and the more and more I'm in this space, the less I think I know, because you meet so many clever people, and but I think that's the key, right? Never be the smartest person in the room. Otherwise, you're in the wrong room, right? So stick around. The space is it's growing fast. It's rapid. Lots of innovations are going to come out of it, and just by being here, you are putting yourself above the 99%. So that's how I'll sign off.
You've said it perfectly, and you're getting love in the chat. I think you got quite a few people subscribing to the Scoop. So thank you so much for coming on this Sheepy Show. It's been one of my favorites. Absolutely enjoyed chatting to you, hearing your opinion, and we'll definitely keep in content and get you involved in maybe some other things in the future. So
absolutely,
thanks a lot, Barbell. I said everyone follow him, follow what he's doing. Great player in the space, working on NFT Scoop, Frontier X. And kind of on that note, I'll catch you next week on the Sheepy Show. So peace out. See you later.
I can't help myself.